This week in Lhasa, the Chinese government rolled out the red carpet for its second Xizang International Communication Conference. Under flashy graphic and banner promoting modernization and culture preservation, Beijing gathers nearly 300 state media experts and international content creators. The clear objective: harnessing big data, social media influencer, and online dramas to broadcast a highly polished, state-approved narrative of a prosperous, stable, and content Tibet directly to global audiences. But thousands of miles away in Geneva, Switzerland, the systematic venue was completely dismantled,
as they affect minorities in the Xinjiang, Inner Mongolia, and Tibetan regions. The new law on ethnic unity risks deepening restrictions on freedoms of language, education, practice of religion, culture, expression, and assembly, and penalizing the peaceful exercise of minority rights in general. I call for the law to be repealed and for these practices to end.
At the ongoing 62 regular sessions of the United Nations Human Rights Council, the top diplomatic pressure on Beijing reached a fever pitch. Presenting a critical global update to the Council, UN High Commissioner for Human Rights Volker Turk launched a direct condemnation against China's aggressive policies of identity erasure. Turk stated unequivocally that China's newly enacted assimilation frameworks, most notably the sweeping National Ethnic Unity Law, must stop and be immediately repealed. High Commissioner Turk and backed UN Special Reporter warns that this sweeping legislation legislates forced assimilation under the guise of national security. The law mandates the absolute supremacy of Mandarin Chinese over the native Tibetan language in schools and daily public life. These global alarm match the damning evidence released in the latest annual report by the Tibetan Center for Human Rights and Democracy. The TCHRD report reveals that Tibet remains locked down under an absolute freedom deficit, scoring a 0 out of 100 on Global Freedom Index. According to their documentations, Beijing has rapidly expanded involuntary mass DNA collection, facial recognition, CCTV networks, and ruthless digital policing designed to eradicate the slightest hint of independent thought. The report and intelligence received by Tibet Radio expose a deeper, more insidious strategy: transnational coercion. Exiles seeking visas to visit aging family members inside Tibet report being systematically blackmailed by Chinese embassy. Travelers are issued severe warnings, hide all political and authentic social realities. Instead, they are forced to film choreograph entertainment lifestyle, festival, and state-funded infrastructure. Upon returning abroad, these individuals are pressured to upload this curated propaganda onto platforms like YouTube, effectively weaponizing family reunions to mislead the global public. Even the infrastructure Beijing championed, boosted heavily by the railway network connecting to Lhasa since 2008, is unmasked as a tool for demographic colonization. The massive influx of Han Chinese settlers has reduced native Tibetans to an economic and social minority in their own ancestral cities. Speaking to Tibet Radio, a former Tibetan political prisoner who requested anonymity for safety exposed the structural deceit behind these pristine developments. The Chinese government only builds permanent, functioning infrastructure in areas where they derive direct economic benefits or in heavy mining zone. I remember an incident in Lhasa when local Chinese officials distributed brand new school bags and books to school children right before an international delegation arrived. It was entirely a showcase for the visitors. The moment the foreign visitor left the area, officials went room by room and collected all the bags and books back from the student. The children were left with nothing. This leaves the global community with one ultimate contradiction. If Tibet is truly as liberated, free, and economically satisfied as Beijing's multi-million-dollar public relations machine claims, why does China still maintain an absolute information blockade over the entire region? Why does China still enforce cursing restrictions on international media, ban independent travelers without reminder, and criminalize locals who speak freely? The truth is clear. Beneath the polished facade of state-mandated media forum, the Chinese government remains deeply terrified of the authentic Tibetan voice.